we know that there are many theories about social construction of reality, and Antonio Sandu and Elena Unguru were talking about two perspectives, the sociologic perspective, which belongs to Berger and Lachman, and it is saying that reality is already constructed before being interiorized, and it is a guide which coordinates individuals' life by making sense of it. And the psychosocial perspective, which comes from Payne's work and is focused on concepts like identity, personality, and perception in the psychological sense of social constructivism. I won't go through the whole paper because it will take me more than 8 minutes, but I will try to make a summary. And I will say something about identity from this perspective of being constructed in the relationship with the others. And there are some ideas that are saying that identity can be built from the way that others are talking about a person, from the way that the person is identified and treated. And all of these are depending on the specific social contexts of the person. So if we are thinking about professional identity, and if we are thinking about nurses in their environment in the hospital, when they are having their first experiences in clinical practice, we can think about the way they are making sense of the reality they are living there. And by this, I mean the stories which they are saying about themselves, or the stories that others are saying about the students. And I will say some things about a narrative approach, which talks about the way we are constructing our, what they call preferred reality. Narrative approach was developed by Michael White and David Epstein, and the idea is that people are living their lives through stories. So if something is happening to me, I'm going to tell to someone else a story, and this story will tell something about me. And the way I'm constructing this story, it might influence me in my sense of who I am. And I mean self-identity. And preferred stories, reality, or it is about that stories that are saying good things about me, about myself, and that can link to preferred identity. And to give an example is for if I'm, I said if I'm working at a furniture factory, and if I'm building like a desk and say, okay, it's a very nice job you've done, but if I'm learning to become a nurse, and if I'm doing something good or wrong to a patient, it is not only the teacher who is telling me that it was good or wrong, it will be the patient who will tell me if he was hurt or not, or if what I did was good to him or not. So this can give a kind of special context for the students in nursing. And I have noticed that when I was doing with them narrative medicine program, which is a program where they can share stories from the clinical practice. And I would like to share some stories with you, which are about this kind of preferred realities. And there is a story from a student in the first year of studies, and she said something like, I don't know what I would like to say more because I have tears in my eyes, especially when I remember that lady. Yes, these are tears of joy, of happiness, because I have never heard, she was the first one to tell me these things. And it was something like, I said, me? You mean me? Are you talking about me? Are you really telling me these things? Yes, it was touching, very touching. And also a story about a student who was called nurse by a patient, and her reaction was like, the lady was stopped her on the hallway and told her, "Thank you so much, nurse." And she says, I looked around and I said, no, I'm not a nurse, I'm a student nurse. But she was really talking to me. She was talking about me. So wow, so I can do good, I can help, I can satisfy people. It was such a feeling. And if we think about the social, a set of expectations that prescribe evaluated by others as appropriate, we can see this like a validation for the teacher, for the students, like they are validated as nurses. And there is just one small story I want to say, because there are not only the stories they are encounter in interaction with the patients, there are moments when they are just creating stories for themselves. Like, for example, she was saying that when she was administrating a medicine, she was preoccupied to not make any mistakes, because she would have thought that a patient can say about her that she's not good as a nurse. And that was very interesting, because she had these ideas in her head, even if nobody told her anything about that. So we are developing stories for ourselves and stories for the others. And we pick up from reality stories which we are comfortable with, and stories which are making us go farther. I don't know if it makes sense. I tried to make a short story from my paper. And thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I will ask at the end.
Thank you, Cătălina, for your presentation.
Thank you as well.
We will go further and continue our presentation. Due to the technical issue, we have less time than usual. And as I can see, here with us in this session are the authors of another presentation authored by Elena Petrovic and Dragana Dimitrievich from University of Nice, Faculty of Philosophy from Nice, Serbia, with the title Family Influence on Leisure Time of School Children. Am I right?
Yes.
Elena? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Very nice to see you. Can you start your presentation, please?
Yes, I just asked the glass of water for my daughter. I didn't expect to be. So if she enters, you will excuse me.
There's no problem.
Okay, here she is. Sorry. I didn't want to make a presentation since we have recorded presentation, and my co-author Dragana did it. Maybe some of you look at it. I just wanted to tell some things about the work we did. We researched free time or leisure time of the children, as you know, and it is a very interesting phenomenon for us because it has some dichotomies in it. So we have to follow the main characteristics of leisure time to allow children to be free and free from any pressure in their free time. So if we somehow disturb these characteristics, then the time is not free. So we wanted to see how can we preserve those main characteristics of free time, leisure time of children, that they make free choices, and at the same time to make some educational impact on them. So the other problem with free time is that it is the time we have to let children choose with whom they will spend it and how they will spend it, and it opens the space for some many factors to influence it, some social factors, some formal, informal groups, peer groups that are very influential when we talk about the children's free time, and in all of that, where is the place of school and the family. For this work, we decided to explore the influence of family. So we decided to make research. We decided to see how much family influences the free time of children, and whether those influences are in the realm of structured free time or unstructured free time. That was our first aim to see. Structured free time is time that the children spend on regular basis. So it is language lessons, music classes, sports activities that are regular because they have their own structure. And unstructured free time is the time that the children spend in reading, walking, playing outdoors, and so on. We expected that the family influence will be greater in the structured free time. So the family will somehow influence children to choose classes or some other things. And the other thing that we wanted to research whether there are some factors that influence family influences. So social factors, parents' employment, those factors can have impact on family, impact on the free time of children. And how we did this, we decided to interview students because we thought maybe the students will be more honest and to take some data from the first hand. So we made Likert type questionnaires, and we asked students how do they spend their time, and how did they decide to spend their time, whether there was family influences, whether it is a kind of model that they follow from their families, and so on. So I said what we expected. We expected greater influence in structured activities, and we expected the social status of the family and employment of the family that has influence. But we didn't get such results. So on the contrary, we got results that family had more influence in unstructured activities, and that social status and employment of parents, free time of parents didn't have any impact. And we were not disappointed with those results. Though we consider those results good because it is unstructured time that is more prone to some other influences, to social media, through peer groups and so on. And we thought it is very good that our families that we researched have influence in those in that realm, in the realm of unstructured activities. So it means that parents in our research did the best influence in the realm that is most important. So we were very satisfied that we have that kind of research. On the other hand, we found that social status, social environment in the means that is it village or town doesn't make a difference in the families that we researched. So we found that all those families made a good effort to make a very good educational influence regardless of their employment or their surroundings and so on. So we got some very good results, and we are very happy with those results. We now only have the role to spread those that kind of influence that families do. We have a good basis as educators. We have a good basis for spreading that kind of influence that parents have. So I was very short, maybe too short, but I'm open for any questions.
Thank you. We will come back to you after all presentation will be made. I was just noticing that another presenter is here online with us. Ioana Palade, am I right?
Yes. Hi.
Yes.
Sorry,
Hello,
I had a connection problem.
Yes, we all did. We all had some problems. Ioana Palade is PhD student, and together with Delia Cristina Balaban, professor PhD within Babeș-Bolyai University from Cluj-Napoca, Romania, made a paper on influence of e-health literacy on attitudes and international behavior regarding HPV vaccination among young Romanian women. It's a quite interesting title. We would like to hear your presentation, so please start your lecture.
Hello. Yes, I'm a PhD student. So, as I said in my presentation, I'm only presenting just some of the preliminary results, since we haven't finished to apply our questionnaire to the students. We applied the questionnaire. It was an online questionnaire, but we applied it in class for students, and we stopped applying it because the courses in the universities stopped. So yes, it is a very interesting topic, since today everyone can access online information and online health information, but not everyone can distinguish between what is good health information, what is real, and what is fake. So people tend to search for online health information instead of going to the doctor, and this is a real problem in Romania, especially. Regarding HPV vaccination, we have a low rate of vaccination, not only HPV, but vaccination in general in Romania. So we focused on HPV because this is a hot issue, so to speak, because in Romania, starting with January, it was going to implement, the government was going to implement an HPV vaccination program. But due to the coronavirus crisis, I'm not sure it is actually happening. So we did a questionnaire, an online questionnaire, and we applied it. And first of all, our results from now can emphasize only what is the general knowledge level of college students regarding health topics, HPV vaccination, their e-health literacy level, their general knowledge regarding HPV and cervical cancer. Our results point out the fact that most of our respondents wouldn't share in their newsfeed from Facebook a health article if it is fake. But again, this is kind of this question is prone to desirability. Most of our respondents are not quite familiarized with the topic of HPV. They find this kind of information partially relevant. They heard about the human papillomavirus. They think that their knowledge level is very bad regarding this virus, and they don't know if this virus can affect both women and males. They don't know how this virus is transmitted, what are the risk factors for this disease. They don't know if it's a symptomatic disease or an asymptomatic disease, and they don't know if it can actually provoke cervical cancer. So our preliminary conclusions, so to speak, are that Romania has to develop a certain health policies regarding health education for kids, and maybe maybe this topic can be united or included in the sexual education classes that are going to be held for students. There is now a legislation being discussed today about this issue, and I think that this HPV vaccination can be HPV vaccination topic can be included there. So yeah, this is the main conclusion, that we need more education. Children need to be educated toward this issue. We will try now to apply this questionnaire at a larger scale. We will appeal to maybe a survey firm who can help us with applying the questionnaire at a larger scale with maybe more universities or things like that.
Okay, thank you, Anna, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the contributions brought to this session. We have only 5 minutes for discussion, so if you would like, you can address now questions or commentaries on the 3 lectures that have been made. Just to remember you, the technical issue that we encountered set us this session at 15:25 to be closed, so to have enough time to start the next one. So please feel free to address questions. We have only 5 minutes to do it, but not all in the same time, please. Okay, I would have a question. I think it's sort of related to all the presentation, because somehow this section is dedicated to education in health, and not only because we also had the presentation of Elena Petrovic related to education within families. How do you think that this pandemic affects the quality of education during this time, related to each of your topics?
I could make a comment on this, because we did research on free time and we are generally interested in free time education, and especially in free time education in families. So this pandemic made families close together during the long periods of time, and in the realm of free time, it made some positive impact, I would say. So families spent a lot of time with children. Families, those parents that didn't have time to see what their children do, now had some free or extra time for that. And in that realm, if we can have some positive from the pandemic, I would say it made families closer and make them be aware of each other's free time, working obligations, and similar. I mean, it should be researched more, but that would be some comment that I would have as my expectation that it happened that way.
Thank you.
Considering the nursing education, I think it's not quite a plus, because they are not able to, the students in nursing are not able to go to the clinical practice because they are not allowed. Also, this is a kind of minus, but maybe we can see the facts like they will value more the clinical practice, because sometimes we were having troubles with keeping them there, but now they are realizing that it's very important for them. And I liked very much that some of the students told me that they are missing the conversations with the patients, and that is, let's say, a kind of hope for the kind of nurses they want to be.
That's great.
Yeah.
So if there are no other comments or questions, we will end this session now, because there are no other papers to be presented and there is not enough time. The next session will start at the 15 and 30. Another session dedicated to education, but this time is approached from the humanistic perspective. Meet you all at 3:30, and thank you for participating again. See you.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Bye.